Well, Instagram just rolled out new safety settings for teen accounts, and the settings are based off decades-old guideline system.
Yeah, the settings are in line with the guidelines for PG-13 movies and will limit children's exposures to things like drugs and alcohol, violent images, strong language, and other adult content type things. Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Charlesworth has more on the new features.
Instagram announced it will now protect what users 18 and under can see following guidelines we already have, PG-13 movie standards.
Even before the internet, I guess, people always just found a way to find stuff that they weren't supposed to be looking at.
But at least on Instagram, the idea is kids won't be able to bump into inappropriate sexual or violent content.
Based on harm, based on the use of drugs or violence. And the idea is to support the protection of mental and physical health.
Professor Jose Mendoza specializes in marketing and AI and is a father of 2 daughters. He wants to see how this really works since AI will pinpoint the age of the user.
The maturity level of a 17 years old is very different than the one from a 13 years old. And this technology will probably put a blanket restriction to both of them, like a PG-13 sort of approach, and that might not be the right one.
It's interesting to hear what people think about this because Instagram really entered our world in October of 2010. So there's already been 15 years of people screaming for this.
We have no way of creating boundaries for them.
These grandparents feel helpless. They're doing it along the PG-13 guidelines. So if a kid looks up alcohol, they won't find anything. They're not going to see a whole bunch of stuff on alcohol on Instagram.
Suicide.
Or how what?
To commit suicide.
Self-harm is another topic it is expected to block. This mom stopped to weigh in with her 3-year-old.
I think that is a really big deal because online there's so much content available for all ages that shouldn't be available. It's a very dangerous place. Even for a future online for little kids, it's really encouraging.
I think parents will allow their children to use it at a younger age.
Because they now trust that they're not going to lose their innocence.
Exactly.
I think that the stuff that's being shown is destroying kids' brains. I think they seeing it and they acting it out.
This may be a move in a more wholesome direction. In Midtown, Michelle Charlesworth, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
We want to take a deeper dive on this topic. We're joined now by ABC News medical contributor and pediatrician, Dr. Alok Patel, about the new features on Instagram. Doctor, from a health perspective, why is it important to block children from seeing certain material online?
It might be obvious for people to understand why it's helpful to block children from seeing excessive violence, hate speech, racism, cyberbullying, and protect their exposure from potential predators, because who knows who is on Instagram and trying to slide into their DMs. So all of these controls are a step in the right direction. And I want to really highlight something is that when kids are young, when they're first getting access to these devices, their brains are still developing. They're trying to figure out an identity for themselves, how to view the world, and social media can potentially hijack part of that process. So this is a conversation we all need to be having. Blocking content is one thing, but truly understanding the addictive potential of smartphones and what they do for kids' emotional regulation, how it's impacting their sleep, their schoolwork, their human interaction. That's another necessary conversation we need to also be having.
I think that's such a key point because this kind of blanket censorship baby step in trying to protect kids it has nothing to do with how addictive these algorithms are. So what is your advice to parents?
My advice to parents is to be as engaged as you can be, not only with your children, your teens, and what they're exposed to and what they're doing, but also with the apps themselves. Go on Instagram and look up this new PG-13 setting and look to see how much you can actually control, what sleep mode means at night, what the time guidelines mean, what do the AI filters actually mean, so you truly understand it. We keep using this analogy of PG-13 movies, but let's be real, when I was a kid, I may have snuck into a couple rated R movies. And if you watch 9 PG-13 movies in a row, it's also not great for you. So we need to pay attention to the fact that kids, teens are savvy. They might find ways around these filters, and they could spend a lot of time doom scrolling on these devices instead of just being children and going to school. So I encourage parents to also create a safe place for your kids to come to you with any concerns if they do run into trouble on these devices.
Great advice. Appreciate it, Doctor. ABC's Alok Patel. Dr. Patel, again, good to talk to you.